Hi, welcome to Tested by Pixel Movers. Today I'm going to be looking at a review for a graphics tablet, and this is going to be a Chinese graphics tablet from a company called Huion. This is going to be the H610. They do a H610 Pro. I personally prefer the H610. I'll go over the reasons why of that in a moment. A bit of background about myself. I'm a graphic designer, illustrator and animator working in the UK. And like most graphic designers out there, when you think about graphics tablets, you probably come to the same conclusion that most graphics designers have, and that Wacom is the best tablet out there. Now, I agree with that to a point. I do think they do a fantastic range of graphics tablets. My biggest qualm with Wacom is that they are overpriced. They've had a stranglehold on the market for a long time. They do produce good products, and I'd love to own a Cintiq, I'd love to own an Intuos, but their price range is just out of my range. And I have a lot of graphic designers' ranges, to be honest. So a lot of graphic designers have been calling out, you're looking at a lot of forums online, a lot of graphic designers have been calling out for a company to come along who could create a graphics tablet that could give the same performance as a Wacom, but at a cheaper price, at a cut down price. And when I first started looking around, I tested Wacom tablets, I tested the Intuos range, the Cintiq range, like I said, out of my price range. Then I did a search and found things from Trust and Genius, again, which didn't cut the mustard with how they performed. So then what I started looking at was just doing Google searches for just general tablets, see if anything else came up. And this company came up, Huion, who produce a really nice range of tablets, which are well-designed tablets, and seem to perform very well. Sometimes I'd say even better than a Wacom. Now, I have a Wacom tablet. I have a very basic Bamboo. Now, this is a great tablet for getting quick sketches down on the computer. But what I don't like about this tablet is its active range. I mean, this cost me about £49. That was second hand. It is a nice tablet, like I said, just for quick sketching. But the active range, about A6, isn't enough for getting broad strokes down. I find real problems inking in things like Manga Studio. And it's a very basic tablet, to be honest. A bit of a, I'd even go as far as saying a bit of a toy. So obviously that was my first foray into Wacom. Couldn't afford the Intuos, so I looked on the Huion site and found the H610. Now they do a H610 Pro, but I prefer the H610, and I'll give you the reasons why shortly. But this is the Huion, and there you go. Now, this tablet is a very nice design, nice curves. It's got some the active area, which you can see. This whole grey section here is your total active area. So it's not far off an A4 sheet of paper, really. Down the side here, you've got a whole bunch of express keys. So there's 3 at the top, 3 there, and then these 2 in the middle, which are your zooming buttons. Now, most programs that I've used this in, those express keys have worked out of the box. So Photoshop, Mischief, a lot of the painting and drawing programs have all worked with these express keys running straight out of the box. Now, across the top here, you've got a whole set of function buttons as well, touch function buttons. I'd say buttons that they're actually on the just flush to the pad. You can't press them, but you tap them with the pen, and it would work a function that you set up in the driver. like either a keystroke or something like that, and you've got 16 of those across the top as well. So that's a lot of buttons on there, and a lot of keystrokes and shortcuts you've got built into this tablet already, which is great. And like I say, lovely design, very light, easy to keep on your lap. It's got a detachable USB cable, so there's no danger of that getting broken off or snapped off, and it comes with a decent length USB cable to go with it as well. So all in all, it's a really good, nice design, sturdy tablet. The peripherals it comes with, like I say, USB cable. It comes with the stylus pen. Now, seems to be the biggest bugbear with most people who love Wacom, that they don't like the pens, because this pen in particular comes with a battery inside. It's not a rechargeable battery, so it just unscrews. So it unscrews, and inside you've got just a standard AAA battery in there. Could use rechargeables, that's fine, but it's just a standard AAA battery in there. And like I say, a lot of people don't like that. They don't like that it's got a battery in. They like the wireless pens from Wacom, which I do as well. But when you're using this, if you forget about the battery, if you just think, right, it's just a pen, don't bother about it. It is just a pen. It's a pen with a battery in. That's all. It doesn't feel any different to a Wacom pen. And yeah, fair enough, you might have to change that battery once in every blue moon, but there's no difference really I can concern with this pen compared to a Wacom pen. It works just as well. The only thing I don't like, and this is something that maybe Huion could address, on the back of this pen it has an on-off button. So there's no eraser there. It has an on-off button, so you click it, that turns the pen on. Click it again like a normal ballpoint pen, that turns the pen off. I don't mind that. You know, it's not a great deal breaker for the amount of money that you're saving on this size of tablet with all those function keys. But for a lot of people, they just don't like that for some reason. The eraser again isn't a problem really, because when you're using it in conjunction with the tablet, at the side of the tablet with the function keys is the eraser button, so you can just press that, erase with the same tip that you draw with, and press the top button again, and that goes back to your chosen pen. But we can look at that when we get into the actual program demonstration as well. So you've got your stylus there, battery powered stylus. It also comes with a little pen holder. I think some of the Wacoms come with similar pen holders to this. This unscrews underneath, and then inside there you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spare nibs, and right in the centre there you've got a nib pull out tool, so you can change your nibs really easy. Like I said, just screws back on, sits on your desk, and your pen can sit on top of the on top of that as well. So that's the main peripherals that come with the tablet itself. You also get a CD with the manual and drivers on, and that's basically the contents of the box that the Huion comes in. Like I said, you know, it's one of those things with graphic designers. Some are just set on buying Wacom, and if you can afford a Wacom, great. But like I said, for a lot of illustrators out there, a lot of animators out there, other artists, maybe like myself, I'm just getting going as a freelance designer after being made redundant. It's just out of my price range, so I've been lucky enough to find this online and do this review. And basically the best thing for me to do is to go into some of these programs and actually see how this tablet works with the different programs. We'll take a look at that now. Okay, so the best way for us to test out this H610 from Huion is to give it a bit of a test drive in some different programs. So we're going to have a look at, first of all, a little simple program called Mischief. A very nice program. that's available very cheaply online. And if we just switch this to a blue sketching pencil, similar to what animators use as underlying drawing, and we'll just do a bit of sketching. The movements you can see here are all done on the Huion 610. Now the drivers for this installed fine. I had no problems. I've read online that there are a few problems with people installing them when they've already got a Wacom tablet. It's advisable to take off the Wacom drivers first and then put the Huion drivers on and then restart your system. That will give you then a little tablet icon in your down here, which you can double click, and I'll show you that in a second, which you can double click and it will give you different options in there to choose for the pen, very similar to the Wacom drivers. So we'll just do a bit of sketching here. So I'll get a rough circle down, very rough circle. Just something a bit cartoony here. And get the brow in there. Now, the first thing I noticed with this Huion tablet was the pressure sensitivity feel of this tablet is fantastic. Now, like I say, I've got the Wacom Bamboo, and the biggest fault I find with the Bamboo is that you just don't feel to get that feedback through the pen itself. Whereas with this, I'm actually feeling to get some feedback on the pen nib itself, because the pen nib feels very springy. So I can tell when I'm doing a very thin line, something very, very fine like that, there's hardly any spring in the actual nib, and it's something you kind of like get used to over time when using this tablet. But you can just tell, you know, you're going to draw a thin line when you hardly put any pressure on, and you don't feel any give at all in this in the nib of this pen. And then the more pressure you put on, you feel the give in the nib a lot more, and it feels to give that feedback a lot more to the hand, which then registers obviously with the brain better, and it's just a very nice feeling from this tablet. So just having a real mess around, I can get a real different thickness of line in there, make that a bit thicker under there, which gives a hint of shadow, and it's just a really, really nice feel to this tip. Now, there'll be some Wacom enthusiasts out there, let's call them, who will say the Wacom feels just as good. To you, it probably does. You've probably been using Wacoms a long time. I did in a studio environment, and I do like the Wacoms as well, but I think the actual pressure sensitivity on this particular tablet is actually beating the Wacom hands down. And it's just really nice to draw with. It's got a very nice feel. And I could sit and draw zombies all day long. This is a really nice feeling tablet to work with, and like I've shown at the side here, you can get your very nice fine strokes, a bit more pressure, and obviously because of the actual active area of this tablet, which I think it's a 10-inch by 6.25 inch, it gives you a lot more scope for broader strokes. I mean, compared to the Bamboo that I have as well, which is only around about an A6 active area, this will give you the ability to just do very nice broad strokes, which is fantastic. So now here I messed up my drawing. Now the beauty of this is that some of the keys that the keys down the side, which I mentioned previously, do work with this program straight out of the box. So we've got the top key, which if I press that is the undo, and we keep pressing that, we'll get rid of all these superfluous, should we say, lines. So it gets rid of the those lines. So you've got the undo, you've got the erase tool, so the erase button, sorry, because as you remember on this particular stylus, where the erase button would be on a Wacom tablet, is the on-off button for the pen. So which is, it's not too much of a problem, because like I say, on this particular tablet you've got a function key down the side for erase. If I press that, it will change over here to erase, and then we can just go ahead and erase, and pressing undo will stop that on erasing again. Erase that again, and then this one, the third button down, which is the pen tool, will switch straight back to the your pencil mode. So those ones work okay. The zoom doesn't work if I press the zoom on this particular one, because I haven't actually set it to this program, and it actually has a very different zoom on here. If you click down here, and that turns the zoom on, so you can still go to there and then zoom in, zoom out like this. Same with the rotation. This is all done, I'm doing this still through the Huion, and that will then rotate your page, and that will move around the page. That brings it back to 100%. What I haven't done is worked out how to use the express keys at the side to zoom in, zoom out, but to be honest, just clicking on there and doing this zoom in, zoom out is adequate enough on there, to be honest. The three other buttons that are under the zoom in, zoom out express keys, we have the increase in pen size. So we go back to pen mode, and if I press the increase in pen size over here, you'll notice that it just goes up in pen size and down in pen size. And the button under that is the hand move button. So the move button does work on there actually, so you can press the move, keep it held in and move the page around, but holding the zoom button just shows zoom in down here, doesn't change the cursor to the zoom icon. All it does is just show it down here, so you might be able to configure that in the actual device driver itself. If we go to the device driver, that's just down here in the tray, double click, it'll ask for permission to open the driver, and as you see here we've got various different options. So we've got our express keys down the side, cancel, erase, switch pen, zoom in, zoom out, brush larger, brush smaller, move. Like I said, in this program most of them work fine. You can address the scope of the drawable area to mirror your screen. So if you've got a widescreen monitor, you can mirror that. If it's a 4:3 monitor, you can mirror that. Hot cells which run across the top, you can select these and then define them as keystrokes however you like on there, and you have 16 of those running across the top, which I think is absolutely brilliant for a graphics tablet of, like I said, $39.95 it cost me. Having all this functionality on the tablet is absolutely fantastic. Info just about the tablet itself. We've been to scope, monitor settings, buttons, so this is to do with the pen tip, and how you can switch these between pen tip, barrel button, left click, mouse click and everything else there that you can change as you would do on a Wacom driver. The pressure, so in here you can actually test your pressure sensitivity, which you can adjust from light to heavy, try different colours. It's just a little kind of like scribble tablet where you can draw some bits in here and gives you a feedback up the side here of your pressure sensitivity levels. You know, just shows you when you're doing your finest pressure the level it's down at, up to your full blown out pressure up there. So it gives a good indication there, and you can set this, so switching it up to heavy on there, you really have to press on a bit harder to get any line at all. You'll probably find if you set it to that and then go back into your drawing program that it will actually draw lines on your very lowest setting. I particularly like it just right down at light, and to get this sketchy, good sketchy feel and a good feedback. So that's the pen tablet driver, and you just OK that to get rid of that, and then back into your drawing again. And if we create a new layer on here, we can go to our inking pen and start. We'll use that undo key and we'll change to black. And we can start inking. And again, it's just a very nice inking feeling there. Very nice feedback from the pen. Just over this side, try a different method of doing that section. Don't like that line, didn't follow it through very well, so I can get rid of that. And just do something really nice. Inking in here, some smaller lines in there. So, and I just can't stress enough really how nice this is and how amazed how good this tablet performs. Like I say, I've tried before Genius tablets and Trust tablets, and they just don't have the same level of performance as in the same pressure sensitivity. I think this is 2048 levels of pressure sensitivity. It's just works really nicely. So this gives you a good idea of how this performs in a drawing package. I think what we'll have a look at next is a package like ZBrush, and just see how the sculpting side works, and then the pressure sensitivity works within a program like ZBrush. But this is a very nice tablet for just sketching, inking, drawing. So that gives you a good idea of what you can do with this particular tablet. Okay, and I will come back to this in a second with a look at ZBrush. So the next program we're going to try here is going to be ZBrush with the Huion H610. Here we've got up a Dynamesh ball just set up in ZBrush, and again all this movement is done using the Huion, so I can just go over here and click on scale and move that up and down, and then it's in symmetry mode, so we can just start sketch sculpting. And as you can see, I can put a little pressure on and get very little change on there. More pressure really bumps up the and then zoom around. We'll change to a different tool, because normally, obviously, in ZBrush we'll do some clay build up. We'll see if the brush size will increase. But straight out of the box, that works fine. Up in the brush size and down. Obviously in ZBrush you've got a few different options there where you can shift the focal length. This just changes the draw size. You've got your focal inside as well, which you can just use a slider for on there. But your draw size, as you can see, it changing up there as I click the button on the side of the Huion on the express buttons. They just change. That changes the draw size automatically, so you can really start to add chunks of clay, virtual clay, to your sculpture on there, you see. So and we can scale him down a bit more, move him around. Again, this all done just using the stylus. Down inside the brush on there, so just clear that down. So we'll try there, because I don't like these bits. There's do a undo. As you can see, the undo is working really well there, straight out of the box. These things working just fine, which is really great. And then it's just down to your own particular workflow in ZBrush itself. I mean, this just shows how great and versatile this is. Again, I feel to be getting that same feedback in ZBrush as I do in the drawing programs. I'm getting that very fine build up there with just very little pressure. To more pressure really ramps up the build up on there of the chin section. Keep turning it around, having a look. Go back up to here to all your different types of buttons here, nudge, move, push, pull. So we'll say, right, we want to really ramp up the brush size. And then we can start dragging the chunks in and reshaping the skull. and it's, like I say, it's just a really nice feeling from the pen. You can move around very easy, and you've got the express keys down the side that are working directly out of the box again. Again, this just feels like a really nice, really nice tablet to work with. And the price of this tablet for the functionality it's got is just absolutely stunning. It could end up being a real Wacom contender. Like I said before, I know there are people out there who are not going to like the fact that it has a battery in the pen, but you start using this thing, and after a while you forget that. You just don't know it's there until the day that it runs out, which to some may be a deal breaker. But to get a similar sized tablet to this in the Wacom range with the same level of pressure sensitivity is going to set you back just short of a few £100 probably. And to me that is a big trade-off. I can cope with having to put a battery in this pen probably every 6 months. But it's just a really nice really nice to work with. Can't really say much more than that, so I'm not going to go into doing a full-blown 3D modelling here for you. This was just really a test to show how it worked and how well it worked within ZBrush, and like I said, directly out of the box. Fantastic functionality. Just love it, 10 out of 10. So what I'll do next is I'll have a look at Photoshop. A very quick look at Photoshop, because in essence Mischief is a scaled down version of Photoshop anyway for the drawing side. If it draws well in Photoshop, it'll retouch well in Photoshop, so this just gives you an idea of, you know, how it worked in ZBrush and how easy the workflow is there, plus the express keys. So here we're going to try and test out Photoshop on the Huion H610. Generic A4 page here, 200 dpi. Straight out of the box again. Zoom in, zoom out keys work fine. Pressing the pen key will switch over here automatically to the brush. We'll go down here and change the brush to a black, and there we go, we can sketch just using that. Get rid of that from the history. Go to the brush and keep on shape dynamics on here, so we can see how the pressure sensitivity is working on there as well. Again, going down the express keys, increase brush size works out of the box, as does decrease brush size as well. And if we then start sketching, let's zoom in a bit, we'll undo that, so undo works also. And then we can just sketch away here like this. So we're getting again some nice thin lines. Just get rid of the history because it's a bit annoying. So we're getting some nice different variations in line size there. Again, I'm getting the same feedback as before. You know, I can just press on very lightly and get some very nice fine brush strokes. Now, I don't know if it's me, but in Photoshop, even with a Wacom tablet, I seem to get a little bit of jitter on these, and I think that can sometimes be down to the actual brush itself. You've got these jitter options on here and smoothing options and what have you, which you can play around with. But yeah, I do seem to get, especially when I'm drawing very slow lines, these little dinks in the line. I see very a jittery line, as opposed to working as something like Mischief and do a very slow line there, and it's practically really nice, and that's just my general hand wobble. Yeah, do a nice stroke, quick stroke, and that looks fine in there. But go back into Photoshop and you just get a bit of jitteriness in there as well. But in general, the tablet's working very well within Photoshop as well, and just like you would with any mouse or anything like that, you know, you can choose all your different options and really have a mess around with what you're doing within Photoshop as well on here. Not really too much to go into in Photoshop, because like I say, if it's a drawing package you're looking at, there are other packages out there which I use, Sketchbook Pro, Mirage, which is my friend's package that he's developing. It's just really nice to see that it works so well in so many different pieces of software directly out of the box. No messing around. There was no messing around with drivers. It's just a really nice graphics tablet for $39.95. That's what I paid for anyway. So that's really all I can say about Photoshop on there for you, using the Huion 610. And another program here, we're looking at a Manga Studio 5. Again, it's another drawing package. Difference here, it's a vector-based drawing package, so anything you're drawing on, any lines you're putting down on the page, are turned into vector format, so you can manipulate them, alter them. Not going to teach you how to suck eggs, but this is for the people who know this program, you know it. I'll just show you how this now works, you know, with the Huion 610. So again, over here you've got your different tools. I'll just try some of the express keys here. So if I hit erase, yeah, jumps down to the erase button. Hit pen, jumps back up to the brushes. Just goes back up to the watercolor brushes. So what I'm going to do is here is just click on the pencil options there. Well, again, change like we did before down to a nice light blue, and we'll try the increase brush size express key, and as you can see, that's working there nicely. And then we can just again sketch away here. So I can do this kind of thing. and yeah, it's more or less the same as all the other drawing packages that I've been in with this. Nice feedback. It's just a lovely way to draw on the computer, basically. This mean looking guy here. Grumpy guy. But yeah, it's really hard to fault this tablet at all, and it just makes you wonder why Wacom really charge so much for their tablets when this can do just a good job. Yeah, the Wacom has a wireless, not wireless, sorry, a battery-free pen, which a lot of people do like. I particularly don't mind it for the trade-off between price. If I can sit down and do the same kind of work on this tablet as somebody in a Wacom can, who's paid a couple of £100 for it, and I paid £39, I'm pretty happy. And it's just so easy just to sketch with this thing. It's just really nice. And again, that same feedback which I was mentioning before. That springiness of that tip really gives that feedback nicely. Again, in this particular piece of software, Manga Studio 5, you get a really nice, fine working. This is down to the program more than the actual tablet, but this particular program is a very lovely program to draw and sketching. It's designed for creating comic book artwork, doing full layouts, that kind of thing. My zoom out works on there as well, and zoom in works on the express keys. So yeah, it's working just how I'd like it in this program. It's just an all-round nice, sketching tool, really. Get down some really rough art together. It's just really nice. So it's just like I said before, I don't particularly like this detached way of drawing. It's not my forte. I would prefer to draw on screen, using something like the Cintiq tablets. But again, way out of my price range. For the companion type tablets these days, you're talking what, £800 to £1,000 upwards, depending on which model you go for. So it's just, if you're wanting a tablet, you want it to be able to sorry about that. If you're wanting to put putting your ideas, your sketches, that kind of thing onto the computer, it's a really good tablet. It's got a good area, active area for drawing on. Very good for broad brush strokes. So yeah, it's pretty good. Hi, so there we go. We've tested a few different programs there with the Huion H610 graphics tablet, and like I've said all the way through, I think personally it performs just as well or even better than a Wacom Intuos tablet at the same size. I think the pressure sensitivity feel you get back from the actual pen nib, from the stylus, I think this is superior to the Wacom. Yeah, it does have a button on the end to turn it on and off instead of an eraser, but with the express key on the side of the actual pad to turn the eraser on, you don't have to keep switching this over, you don't have to flick it over in your hands to erase, you can just keep it the same way, click that button in every program and you can erase, there's not a problem. And again with the express keys, every single express key worked in the majority of programs how it should. A couple of programs there, mainly Mischief I'd say, where the zoom didn't work because it has a different zoom functionality in Mischief to how other programs work. So in the end, all I can say really to sum this up is the Huion H610 is a fantastic tablet with a great drawing area, very large drawing area, nice express keys that work out of the box. I know we didn't really touch on these touch sensitive keys across the top, but all they can be set up to your own needs in whatever program you're using through keystrokes, whichever you like. You can set those up and all you have to do is tap on it when you're in the program and you'll get that same keystroke. It's a lovely design, it's cheap, it's relatively cheap for this size tablet, and compare it to something like an Intuos from Wacom, which at that kind of size you're going to be paying nearly a couple of £100 for probably. It is a stunning tablet for the money. So all we can do is thank Huion for producing such a good tablet with good functionality, easy to install drivers. I had no problems. I'm not a Mac user, which I can hear a lot of people booing me out there at the moment. Being a graphic designer, I moved over from Mac onto PC as a cost base. Very similar to I can't buy a Wacom, I can't afford a Wacom, I can't afford a Mac. My PC cost me probably about a third of the price of a Mac. But you know, in the end, it's a Wacom Beta, and it's just a shame. You know, it can't have more prominence really, because it would really upset the market with Wacom. I think if this one was used by more people, there's probably a lot of graphic designers out there who won't even think about touching it because they don't think it's any good. I can really stress that this is a really good tablet, and if you are a designer out there, really get online, go onto Amazon, have a look and see what kind of price it's on at the moment, because they do fluctuate in the prices and you might get one cheaper. Try eBay. You know, it is a really nice tablet. So thank you for watching this review of the Huion 610. My next review, hopefully, as I've said previously, I do like drawing directly on screen, and I'm hoping to review a Huion tablet, like draw on tablet monitor, which do look very interesting indeed. And if we get the same functionality of this tablet on a monitor tablet, you know, so we can draw directly on a screen at a decent resolution, it's going to be something very interesting, that's going to really compete with the Wacom Cintiqs. I do obviously realise the Cintiqs, high definition tablets, that kind of thing. The tablet from Huion, the monitor tablet from Huion, is a bit lower res, but we'll get into that in the next review. But hopefully that's going to be my next review, is a Huion tablet monitor. Okay, thanks for watching.